Hey everyone, today I just wanted to start a discussion or debate on how the mounts in R2DA are becoming obsolete as time goes on. Yeah, but first let's go back to 2017 to jog everyone's memory as to what all the mounts do if they're not aware, so then they'll know. On December 25th, 2017, the first mount became available to the public, being the Ice Rhino. It was overwhelming because for the first time ever there was a new viable method of horizontal mobility than just walking or running. At the time it was obviously the best, but when you put it next to today's mount, it's not viable by a long shot. This is because all of the mounts kept getting better than the last, or, in my opinion, I guess, yeah. Fast forward to the summer event of 2018 when I played R2DA for the first time. A new mount was made to challenge the Ice Rhino for its position as number one, obviously, because it's the only mount. It was the Mini Crab. The Mini Crab was quicker than the Ice Rhino at the expense of having less jump height, but people didn't use the mounts for jumping, so it was just better. The reason that people didn't use mounts for jumping is because your character could just jump higher than the mount could anyways, so yeah, that's why. The Pumpkin bot came out next, and it was basically the opposite of the other two in that it could jump high but it walked slowly. This made a good side grade when playing on maps where a lot of vertical movement is needed. It also had guns with aim assist as a benefit. It was something new and it was thought out more than how they just made the mini crab a better ice rhino. Overall, I quite liked how they didn't make an even faster mini crab or something along those lines. 1 year after the first mount was added, the killer of all mounts were released. It was the rocket sleigh. Originally, it was very shit because it was a land mount that you could not control, but then it was redesigned to a mount that could fly. It was OP as shit because if you had the parasol, you could stay in the air forever. This caused many rounds where people would just delay and not die, making it outshine every other mount in almost any map. Then in the Easter of 2019, the duck became available. Along with it, the rocket sleigh was nerfed to trip you when you exited the mount, which made most players stop using the sleigh and switch to the duck. It can jump high and can triple jump, so it makes scaling tall things very easy. The jet ski came out next. Its gimmick is that it can go on water, however it slowly runs out of fuel which regenerates while you're on land. I don't like this mount because it's very situational and sometimes it gets you killed due to glitches. The M2 tripod was after that. It is a gun on a stand with limited ammo. It also cannot be moved. At release it was very broken because when paired with an autoclicker set to very low delay, it could shoot faster than the gun could if you held shoot, which allowed you to quickly kill zombies. It could also be used to AFK farm because it had infinite ammo, but now it has 400 ammo. And along with this, the gun also heats up if you shoot it for too long. On Christmas 2019, the plane was released from gifts. It can be controlled while in the air, but it has the same fuel gimmick that the jet ski has. If it runs into a wall, it will explode, and if you jump out of it mid-air, you will not be able to respawn the plane. You will need a runway and time to start up the engines in order for you to be able to get into the air. In the 2020 summer event, two mounts came out. They were the bunny and the grill. I'll talk about the bunny and then I'll talk about the grill after that. The bunny can jump very high and it goes faster than your walking speed. That's all. Along with that, the grill hinders your movement by slowing your speed and removing your ability to jump while it's active. However, when you click while using it, it heals you and everyone around you by 35 health. It can only be used 5 times before it breaks, however if it touches a propane it gets 2 more uses. The train came out in the Christmas 2020 update. It is the fastest ground mount, however it must start up first. Its gimmick is that pressing E spawns in a passenger cart which can hold 2 players in it, and you can spawn infinite carts as long as a player is in the last cart that you had spawned. Toppling the train will cause the carts to explode and damage the and damage the passengers, but it's unlikely that you will be hurt. Most recently, the tank was released. It is similar to the tripod in that it shoots, but however, it can drive around and has the ability to shoot rockets. It also boosts your health by 2.2k while you're in the tank, but it goes back down to your regular health after you leave the mount. Right, so now that I have recapped you all on what the mounts do, I want to discuss about how the newer mounts are often trying to be better than the last. To show my point, I'll show two groups of mount counterparts and then I'll talk about them in more depth. So here are the two groups of mount counterparts that I've made up. So the traditional mounts are the ones that have controls similar to your character, as in WASD to walk and space to jump. And then the offensive mounts are the ones that do damage, excluding the Pumpkin Bot, because it's also quite useful for mobility. You know, it's not just offensive, and that's the only thing that you can do with it. So it's you can't really compare it to the other ones. And yeah, I know that the train and the plane are technically offensive by that logic, but come on, like, for real, man, who's gonna blow up their train and plane on purpose just to do damage? Anyways, back from that tangent, we are starting with the traditional mounts, which are the Ice Rhino, Mini Crab, Duck, and Bunny. If you compare the Mini Crab to the Ice Rhino, both of their jumps are less than what you could do without them enabled, but the Mini Crab is slightly faster, which makes it better than the Ice Rhino in most situations. Then when you compare the Duck to both of these, then like both of them immediately become unviable, unless maybe if you were playing like the subway map or something closed up, you know, because vertical movement doesn't matter very much there. But for real, what is this balancing? Like, noticeably slower speed, still faster than your walking speed, mind you, for insane total jump height, and it can glide. How is that fair for zombies at all? The bunny is worse than the duck, which is good because it is more balanced, but I still think that when you think about how the bunny has only 1 stud per second slower walk speed than the Ice Rhino, but like substantially better jump height, and you can't take full damage, it becomes apparent how broken the bunny is. As for comparing the tripod with the tank, I think that most people would rather the tank. This is because the tank is better in the aspects that it doesn't heat up, it can move, it can be redeployed, it can do splash damage if needed, and it gives you 2.2k health, whereas the tripod can almost do 4k more damage, which is good, just not good enough to be viable, in my opinion at least. Now, there are a few mounts that in my opinion don't really have any counterparts, which I don't have a problem with and I think are great. And there are a few that are arguable to be counterparts, such as the rocket sleigh with a plane. This is because they can both fly, however the rocket sleigh can start flying immediately, but the plane has to start up and you need a runway and a whole lot of other stuff. Or how the Pumpkin Bot is either with the vertical mobility mounts or the mounts that shoot. Like, it's arguable, but in my opinion, because it's a hybrid of the two groups, it's unique, so that's why I didn't contrast it with the tank and the tripod. A consequence that I've noticed that is because of the mounts getting better is that the zombies will have a harder time dealing with survivors with mounts that exponentially become more of an issue to deal with, leading to the possibility of more complications when balancing zombies. I know it's probably something that must be done for monetization purposes, so I'm not gonna give a suggestion, and I'm not sure as to how they would go about fixing the problem if they ever were to. But by buffing the old mounts, it becomes harder for zombies, but by nerfing the current mounts, people will be upset. Anyways, yeah, that was my feedback on the current mount situation and Reason to Die. Sorry if it came off as a bit nitpicky, but I just wanted to express how I was feeling about the game currently. But I want to hear your opinion, so if you wouldn't mind writing a comment, that would be great. Anyways, yeah, goodbye.